Hi, my name is Stephen McGee and I'm the author of Health Forensics, and we're here to look into a subject of health forensics, and that is stray voltage exposure to plants. Now these are all Dieffenbachias that we're looking at, and stray voltage comes up from electrified floors. Now we're in the kitchen, and the kitchen is the next room to the garage. And the garage has the electrical fuse board and the electrical ground rods on it. So this electrification is coming from the electrical ground rods, and it goes for quite some distance from the ground rods, and it electrifies everything in contact with the ground for quite some distance. Now, the purpose of this experiment that we're looking at right now is you can see that one of these plants is on a plastic insulated tray, and the other plant is electrically connected into the ground using a foil base and little foil strips that are in the plant. Now, this one is getting both the field exposure that the floor is emitting and also the direct electrical contact with the stray voltage. Now this one, because of the plastic base, does not have any electrical contact with the floor, but it does get the field exposure of the floor. And the thing you'll notice is they're actually quite similar. So they're almost dead. This one looks dead, and this one looks dead. So it's quite clear that wherever is killing both plants is common to both plants. So it appears to be the field exposure that the floor is emitting that's killing the plants, which I found very, very interesting. Now, the plant death that we're seeing has only been occurring in this experiment since a lot of solar photovoltaic systems showed up in the community. Now, solar photovoltaic systems significantly change the range of frequencies in stray voltage. So it appears that since those systems have shown up, it's become fatally biologically toxic to these plants, which I found very, very interesting. I'm going to show you the control for this plant. So there's the window. So you see that the plant's getting plenty of light. Here's the control, and this is what the control is looking like. These were all out of the same batch of plants. You see that this one is actually growing. Now, people who grow the Dieffenbachia will say it doesn't have leaves the size of your hand, and you're very right with that observation. And also the patterning's gone, and the leaf is quite shiny. So what this plant has is radio frequency exposure sickness, and that's been a problem in this kitchen ever since I started growing the Dieffenbachia in the home. And the kitchen is the worst room in the house for growing the Dieffenbachia. They show extensive deformity, and that is in line with being very, very close to the radio frequency transmitting utility meters. So this is also an area that has 3 antenna tower systems installed into it as well, and they're about 2,000 to 2,300 feet away. And there is a further exposure in the fact that the home has a microwave alarm system sensor installed into it. So there's quite a bit of radio frequency knocking around in this home. So that combination in the kitchen is very biologically toxic, and we see that in this plant. But the difference is that these plants are virtually dead. They're in contact with the floor. And the one that is way above the floor is alive and is growing and is showing the typical growth that this location gives for the Dieffenbachia. So I have to conclude, having seen this experiment, that stray voltage coming up from electrified ground and the electromagnetic fields that it emits are actually quite biologically toxic to certain biological organisms, and that the Dieffenbachia is definitely one of those biological organisms that will exhibit a horrible reaction to prolonged exposure to stray voltage and stray electromagnetic field exposures. That was the purpose of this experiment. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to find out more on the subject, you'll find it in Health Forensics. I wish you the very best of health. Thank you.